This is how the Russian army launched missiles against Ukraine on March 9th. Russia carried out one of the most massive missile attacks. The main targets of the enemy were critical infrastructure facilities, but the enemy also attacked residential buildings. Unfortunately, there were killed and wounded among civilians.
The enemy fired 81 missiles in an attempt to intimidate Ukrainians again, returning to their miserable tactics. The occupiers can only terrorize civilians, that's all they can do. But it won't help them, they won't avoid responsibility for everything they have done. Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine, on Telegram.
In Kiev, 3 people were wounded by fragments of a missile and are being provided with medical assistance. The fragments of the missile also damaged cars.
I woke up from the explosion, quite a strong one, but I could never imagine that it would happen in my backyard. I had breakfast, took shower. Before heading out of home, I read on the news that cars were on fire. When I went outside, I realized those cars are in the yard. It is hard to explain how I feel, because 1 meter left or right, and it could have been my apartment. I have no words left.
As a result of an enemy strike in the Lviv region, 2 residential buildings were completely destroyed. Unfortunately, 5 people were killed. A video of a dog lying on the ruins was shared on Ukrainian social media. The dog's owners were killed as a result of the attack.
It's the first time I witnessed such a tragedy. This is horrible. I don't have any words. You know, this Russian is a devil.
Russian invaders have once again launched a missile attack on Kherson. Unfortunately, there were casualties. The strike also destroyed a public transport stop.
My house shook. I immediately understood that it hit somewhere next to my house. It is just 50 steps away from my house. I feel so sorry for Alena. She was such a good girl, and more people died.
In Zhytomyr, in northern Ukraine, the enemy hit the energy infrastructure, the mayor of Zhytomyr said. Also, the last line of supply of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant was damaged.
Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is running on emergency diesels. The last line of defense. This is the 6th time. Let me say it again. This is the 6th time that the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has lost all off-site power and has had to operate in this emergency mode. Let me remind you, this is the largest nuclear power station in Europe, operating for the 6th time under emergency diesel generators. What are we doing?
The plant itself is out of power. Diesel generators can afford to maintain the work station only for 10 days. Lack of supply later may cause serious environmental catastrophe. Reported by Roman Smoler, UATV News.